Picture this. A child refuses to go into school. They cling, they cry, they hit out. And the parent, exhausted, embarrassed, desperate, say something like, "If you go in, I'll let you have the screen time later. Go on, I'll take you to the shops after school. If you're good today, you can have..." And the child goes in. So it worked, didn't it? No, it didn't. Because tomorrow morning, the child will be at the same gate, with the same tears, waiting to see what today's offer is. Every time you give in, you make tomorrow harder. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why and what to do instead. Here's what most parents don't realise about bribing and bargaining. The toys, the screen time, the treats, the promises. Your child doesn't actually want any of it. Not really. What they're asking for, underneath all refusing and crying and the hitting, is time with you. That's it. That's all it ever is. They don't want the fidget toy. They want you to stay. And instead of hearing that, instead of saying clearly and calmly, "I love you, you are safe, I am leaving now," the parent offers something material, something that was never what the child needed. So the child goes in, but nothing has been resolved. Nothing has been taught. Nothing has changed, except one thing. The child has learned if I hold out long enough, something better comes. And you're making it worse without realising it. Before I go further, if you want the exact words to use in these moments, I put together a free pack called the Steady Words Pack. Calm, clear phrases for exactly these situations. The link is in the description. Make sure you grab it at the end of this video. So, why does this happen? It's not because parents don't care. It's because they care too much. And they feel guilty. Guilty that their child is upset. Guilty that other parents are watching. Guilty that they can't fix it quickly. So they bargain, they bribe, they negotiate. And their child, watching all of this, learns something very important. If I say no, if I cry, if I hold out, the boundary moves. You're negotiating with your child, and it never works. Because negotiation tells a child the boundary isn't fixed. There's always another offer coming. I just need to wait. And so they wait. Every single time. Here's the part that nobody tells you. When you stop bribing, when you hold the boundary calmly and clearly, it gets worse before it gets better. Your child will push back harder than ever. They'll shout. They'll cry. They may even say, "I hate you." They'll test every edge of the new boundary to see if it's real this time, or if it's just another version of the same pattern. This is not a sign that it isn't working. This is a sign that it is. Your child is recalibrating. They're learning for the first time that the boundary doesn't move. And that learning takes a few days, not weeks, not months, a few days of calm, consistent follow through, and the pattern begins to shift. But most parents don't get there because the guilt is overwhelming, because they can't bear the crying, because someone says, "I'll just do it this once." And that one time resets everything. Why your child's behaviour gets worse before it gets better is not a failure of your parenting. It's proof that change is happening. Stay calm, stay consistent, and follow through. There's something else that breaks this pattern before it has a chance to work. Two parents, two very different responses. One holds the boundary, the other gives in. And the child, who is watching everything, figures it out very quickly. They learn who the firm one is. They learn who will negotiate. And they go to that parent every single time. And here's something that might make you feel a little less alone about this. This isn't just a home dynamic. It happens in school too. When a familiar teacher is absent and a supply teacher walks in, you can almost see it happen in real time. The children clock the unfamiliar face. They test the edges immediately because experience has taught them new adult, unknown boundary. Let's find out where it sits. It's not naughtiness, it's intelligence. Your child is doing exactly the same thing at home. They're not trying to make your life difficult. They're trying to find out where the boundary actually is and whether it's the same whoever is in the room. So, if you've ever thought, why do they behave for everyone else but not for me? The honest answer is, they probably don't. Not when the boundary isn't clear, not when the response keeps changing. This isn't manipulation. This is a child doing exactly what experience has taught them. The classic warning, "Wait until your father gets home," is one of the most damaging things a child can hear. Not because it's harsh, but because it's an empty threat, another boundary that doesn't mean anything, another promise that probably won't be followed through. For any behaviour system to work, both parents need to be working from the same page. The same expectations, the same responses, the same follow-through. Non-negotiable, every time, from both of you. Because a boundary that moves for one parent isn't a boundary at all. Here's what happens on the other side of consistency. The shouting stops, the bargaining stops, the guilt stops. Not because your child has given up, but because they finally know where the boundary is. And a child who knows where the boundary is feels safe, feels calm, feels secure. They stop testing because there's nothing left to test. The morning that used to take 45 minutes of negotiation becomes predictable, normal, and calm. Everything that was once a battle becomes a routine. Your child understands and moves through without resistance. And you, the parent who held the line, stops living on the edge, stops dreading the mornings, stops carrying the guilt. Every time you give in, you make tomorrow harder. But every time you hold, calmly, clearly, consistently, you make tomorrow easier. For both of you. So if you take one thing from this video, your child doesn't need the bribe. They need the boundary. Say it clearly, say it once, follow through calmly, and come back to steady. Even when it gets harder first, even when they push back, even when they cry. Because on the other side of that consistency is a calmer child, a calmer home, and a parent who finally feels in control. That is what steady parenting looks like. If this video helped, the Steady Words pack is in the description. Free download, calm, clear phrases for exactly these moments. The link is below. And if you missed part 1 and part 2 of the series, links are in the description. Watch them in order for the full picture. New videos every week. And I'll see you on the next one.